You don't hate love. That's the first misconception. You crave it. You just don't trust it. When someone gets close, something inside you tightens. Not dramatically, not loudly, quietly, subtly, like a hand closing around a fragile glass before it can fall. Your body braces long before your mind has words for what's happening. You might even think, this is what intimacy feels like. But it isn't. It's vigilance. You've learned how to give love, how to be attentive, steady, present. But receiving it? That's where your breath shortens. Compliments bounce off you. Care makes you uneasy. Dependence feels dangerous, even when it's gentle. And here is the paradox, the quiet cruelty at the center of your psychology. The emotional self-reliance that once protected you is now the very thing preventing you from being nourished. At some point, needing less felt safer than hoping for more. Depending on yourself felt wiser than risking disappointment. Emotional independence became your armor. But armor, worn too long, begins to crush the chest. So when love arrives, healthy love, patient love, you don't feel relief. You feel exposed, seen, and somehow at risk. You are not cold. You are not broken. You are not incapable of love. You are someone who learned, very intelligently, that accepting care was a liability. And the wound isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It whispers, don't rely, don't soften, don't need. This is the silent wound. Psychologically speaking, this pattern most commonly reflects avoidant attachment, often paired with emotional neglect and hyper-independence conditioning. Let's slow this down. A child does not decide to reject love. A child adapts to the quality of love available. When emotional needs are inconsistently met or met with dismissal, intrusion, or conditional approval, the nervous system learns a rule. Connection is unpredictable. Safety lives in self-sufficiency. This is where avoidant attachment forms, not as arrogance, not as coldness, but as an elegant survival strategy. The child minimizes needs to preserve dignity. They lower expectations to avoid rupture. They internalize the message, if I don't need much, I can't be hurt much. Now layer emotional neglect onto this. Not abuse, not overt cruelty, but absence, lack of attunement, needs unnoticed, feelings unmirrored, pain endured alone. Neglect doesn't teach you that you're bad. It teaches you that you are invisible. And invisible children grow into adults who don't believe love will stay when truly needed. Neurologically, this rewires the brain. The default mode network, the system governing self-referential thought, becomes oriented around vigilance and self-management rather than co-regulation. You become your own emotional regulator, your own anchor, your own safety net. That sounds strong. It is strong. But it also means your nervous system does not associate closeness with rest. Love doesn't downshift you, it activates you. So when someone offers consistency, warmth, or care, your system scans for the hidden cost, the strings, the eventual withdrawal, the moment where reliance will be punished. Your internal dialogue isn't dramatic, it's practical. I'll handle it. I don't want to burden them. I'm fine. I don't need that. This isn't personality, it's conditioning.
Here's the part rarely acknowledged. The cost of rejecting love is profound, invisible grief. You live a life where you are admired, but not fully held, respected, but not deeply known. you are the stable one, the competent one, the one who doesn't need much. And over time, something erodes. Because love transforms us not when we give it, but when we let ourselves be changed by it. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists, but what you cannot receive leaves you undernourished." You sacrifice spontaneity to stay controlled, softness to stay safe, authenticity to remain self-contained. The deepest fear underneath this pattern isn't abandonment, it's dependence. Because dependence implies vulnerability, and vulnerability once meant disappointment, or worse, exposure without protection. So love becomes complicated. Rest becomes uneasy. Care feels like debt. You start rehearsing exits even in healthy bonds. You keep one foot always on the ground. Existentially, this is the tragedy philosophers like Kierkegaard warned about. The self that becomes too self-contained, too closed to be transformed by relationship. The self that survives but does not fully live. Moments that should be simple, being held, being helped, being soothed, become internally tense. Your body is present, but your system is braced. You don't melt, you endure. And enduring love is not the same as receiving it.
This wound does not stay abstract. It shows up everywhere. You might recognize yourself in these patterns. In relationships, you attract partners who need more than they give, or give more than feels safe. You either feel swallowed or understimulated. Equality feels unfamiliar. You struggle with compliments, not out of humility, but mistrust. Praise feels inaccurate, uncomfortable, or temporary. You are highly functional in crisis, but deeply uncomfortable when someone offers proactive care. Help feels invasive unless requested exactly on your terms. You intellectualize emotions. You understand your feelings, but don't always feel them in the body. Insight without integration. You delay needs. You wait until exhaustion before asking, or never ask at all. Then you feel resentful that no one noticed. You equate love with loss of autonomy. You fear being needed because need once meant obligation without support. Here's the reframe that changes everything. These are not character flaws. They are coping strategies. At some point, this pattern worked. It kept you intact. It preserved your sense of control when control was all you had. Healing begins not with self-correction, but with witnessing. Witnessing means you stop gaslighting yourself by saying, "This is just how I am." Instead, you say, "This is how I learned to survive." And survival patterns can be unlearned, but only with respect.
Healing this wound does not begin with forcing yourself to accept love. It begins with relearning safety. Practices like inner child reparenting matter here, not as sentimentality, but as nervous system recalibration. You practice receiving in small doses. You allow care without repayment. You sit with the discomfort long enough for your body to realize nothing bad is happening. This is shadow work, meeting the part of you that equates softness with risk. Listening instead of overriding. You don't leap into dependence. You experiment with softness. You learn that love does not erase autonomy. It expands it. Philosopher Martin Buber wrote, "All real living is meeting." But meeting requires openness, and openness requires courage. The goal is not to become someone who needs everyone. The goal is to become someone who no longer fears needing anyone. You are not here to be fixed. You are here to be whole. And wholeness means allowing yourself to be supported without shame, loved without vigilance, and softened without collapse. If this resonated, it's because something in you is ready, not to give more love, but to finally receive it. And that is not weakness. That is the deepest form of strength there is. If this video gave language to something you've carried silently, consider sharing it. Subscribe not because you're broken, but because understanding yourself is the most serious form of freedom.